I like the editing.
Subscribe to Keemstar.
Hello, Jesus here. Just want to let you all know that Hitler did absolutely nothing wrong. He only wanted to act upon God's will. Don't worry though, he stands beside God now. He is in heaven. That's all, folks. Jesus out.
First and foremost, what I've now been wondering, was it for $5 or was it because they knew it was for PewDiePie? There's a good chance that somewhere in the order it was alluded to be for a YouTube video for a big channel. So did they really do anything for $5? Or is it that anyone will do anything for PewDiePie? What kind of gives it away for me is the Jacksepticeye part, where the Jesus character mispronounces Jacksepticeye twice without batting an eyelid, or trying another pronunciation.
Hi, this is Jesus, and I just wanted to say, subscribe to my favorite channel on YouTube, Jacksepticeye 2.
How did you fuck that up? I never heard so. Jacksepticeye. Pronunciations are your responsibility. Make sure I understand them, please. Well, I didn't know you were an illiterate bastard, Jesus. Jesus Christ.
Jacksepticeye 2.
Jacksepticeye.
I love Jacksepticeye 2 more than PewDiePie. Bless be with you. Jesus out.
I asked him to do a smoke bomb. Fiber. This is the best. Jacksepticeye.
Jacksepticeye 2. I love Jacksepticeye 2 more than PewDiePie.
Jacksepticeye. You heard it here first, folks. Jacksepticeye. Top bottom morning to you, ladies. My name is Jacksepticeye. All right, well, I'm leaving a big fat tip on this one. This is amazing. Wow.
You'd think if he actually thought it was a full word, he'd want to clarify the pronunciation beforehand. It's 3 simple words. Jack, septic, I. No foreign or made-up words. Any intelligible person can see that. So there was probably some discussion back and forth on how to make it funnier. Not to mention, if Jesus had typed Jacksepticeye into a search bar and watched a couple videos, the pronunciation would become pretty obvious right quick.
Top of the morning to you, laddies. My name is Jacksepticeye and welcome back to Chicken with Sauce. Top of the morning to you, ladies. My name is Jacksepticeye and welcome back to Guts and Glory. Top of the morning to you, ladies. My name is Jacksepticeye and welcome back to Resident Evil 7. Top of the morning to you, ladies. My name is Jacksepticeye. My name is Jacksepticeye. My name is Jacksepticeye. Jacksepticeye. Jack. All the way.
Since watching the videos, I mean, they're obviously pushing it with the repeated choice of Nazi humor, but the context in itself isn't anti-Semitic. So how else would they make it a bigger effect than it had on its own? Was this a big publicity stunt to maintain a spotlight amongst the main demographic, as well as to dim the scandal of Shay Carl? Is it possible that Maker will turn around in a couple weeks and say, "Oh, well, we see now that terminating our business relationship with PewDiePie was a mistake, and are welcoming back with open arms," without ever having removed him? It would be easy to uncancel a not yet aired show, and all in all, it was a great social experiment to see what big news outlets would take the bait. Or one of these underpaid, underappreciated Wall Street journalists was offered a bit of cash to drop the well-researched news story. Or better yet, they were going to cancel the show anyways and wanted it to go out with a bang. There are so many different possibilities. We have seen the great lengths many big YouTubers have put into creating fake drama, and what a channel with a few million subs can pull off. The FouseyTube and Rice Gum fiasco, every Joey Salads video. So is it too far a reach to think that PewDiePie and his team couldn't orchestrate this? It's also pretty weird how seriously so many people are taking it. Like, the entire internet knows Felix was joking. He's been forgiven. People who don't get it, or didn't get it, live under a rock. So why pander to these kind of people? Those who refuse to do their own research? I mean, we can all agree his repeated choice of that type of humor was pushing it. It's one thing to make a joke out of a dead gorilla, but I think it will always be too soon to make a joke about genocide. You really don't hear many people making jokes about Hiroshima, Pearl Harbor, no jokes about Stalin, or even Jim Jones. You think it will be funny in 100 years to make jokes about 9/11? It's not really funny when the butt end of the joke is a lot of dead people. It's tasteless and disrespectful. And even PewDiePie knows that.
Wie sollte eine wahrhaftige Weltanschauungspartei sein? Zweitens, sie wollte daher kompromisslos die einzige Macht und alleinige Macht in Deutschland.
I made some jokes that people don't like. And you know what? If people don't like my jokes, I fully respect that. I fully understand that. I acknowledge that I took things too far, and that's something I definitely will keep in mind moving forward. But the reaction and the outrage has been nothing but insanity. People celebrating the fact that my show got cancelled, which is something literally hundreds of people worked on. Is that fair? Is that worth celebrating? Over some jokes that you disagree with? J.K. Rowling is apparently not a fan of me. Again, it's fine to not agree with someone's sense of humor, but calling me a fascist, how is that helping anyone? Some people have been saying that these jokes are normalizing hatred. Regardless if that's true or not, spoilers, it's not, unless there's 53 million Nazis watching me for some reason. A personal attack like this to portray me as anti-Semitic is doing no one a favor.
I'll admit it's provocative and got PewDiePie the reactions and attention he'd hoped for, and then some. But that doesn't mean we should all just be okay and excuse this kind of humor, especially when there are still people alive who lived through it. It's nice that nothing ever happens in Sweden, and the Swedes can't really relate to a national tragedy, but that doesn't change the fact that he knew the reaction he was eventually going to get, and he practically begged for it. If the point of the video was to show people the ridiculous things that people will do for $5, there were 5,000 different ways of doing so. But that wasn't the point of the video. It was, how can I spin the most controversial nonsense into a sort of comedy skit? I'm surprised he hasn't made any jokes about abortion. Such a flame-broiled and juicy topic. The real problem is that he's right when he says he's not a comedian.
You're targeting some Swedish guy that tries to be funny. Most of the time, it doesn't really go well. Very offensive. But he means well. But is there any hate in what I do? No, absolutely not. Personally, I think they are the ones normalizing hatred. Because there is actual hatred out there. I'm just pointing with my hand. Calm down.
He got big by being one of the first Let's Play channels, and by being obnoxious and yelling a lot.
I would love to Fasha! Come here, Fasha. Fasha, where are you going? Is he moving? Fasha. Oh, fuck me! Run, like a boss, run like a boss, run like a boss!
Some of his most viewed videos are just him watching Try Not to Laugh videos. He isn't funny, but he does know how to stir the pot. So think, yeah, some people will agree and some people will disagree with what PewDiePie did, but in exactly which way? Is it because he made some Nazi jokes? Or is it because he's so unfunny that it's unbearable to believe that he's the most subscribed YouTuber? These are your children. I'm willing to bet his audience is roughly 75% male between the ages of 13 to 17. Can we really be mad at PewDiePie for catering to that audience? It says more about how this generation was raised than about PewDiePie's personal character. In Nazi times, young men of those ages were starting full-time jobs, families, and are going off to war. Look what they're doing now. Laughing at some vulgar, loudmouth Swede, hang on to every word just because he has a funny accent. People aren't raising their kids anymore. They're letting computers, phones, and tablets do it, then getting mad at what their kids are choosing to watch. Most people don't want to admit it, but the audience shapes the creator. What the audience responds best to, or with the most engagement, the creator will do more of. Those AI bots they created, for example, that learned from what they read, became hateful and anti-Semitic because it garnered the biggest response. Which doesn't even necessarily mean every person is enjoying or supporting it. For some, they may be watching for the shock value, while others may find humor in it. PewDiePie went as far as to dye his hair bleach blonde to really get the media worked up over this. But that's the thing, we can't really blame him. We have to look inside ourselves and see why the topic PewDiePie chose was fueled by each and every one of us. one way or another. You know what they say after all, don't hate the player, hate the game. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to leave a like. And don't forget, for every subscriber, a baby panda is saved.